I keep thinking, someday I'll wake up and I'll say, wow, I'm an adult.
Gloria Estefan, I want to say something. You are one of the queens of Miami. I'm so happy for your success, and just keep on giving that Miami sound.
She's really down to earth. She's a down to earth angel.
When I'm on stage, I love performing live. I do love to perform live. There's a saying in Spanish that's called nadie es profeta en su tierra, which means no one is a prophet in his own land. And that's been something that's been told to me by millions of people. And I really didn't understand why that should be the case. And Miami has really proven to us that it's not the case, because they've been very supportive. So to us, it's a very important thing. And playing Miami is like, it's a big thing to us, because that's the audience that saw us grow from the beginning, the ones that have known us for so many years and have allowed us to grow without, leaving us and without saying, you sold out, or on the contrary, they're very proud, and they've always expressed it to us. Because I've changed in so many outward aspects. Inside, I still feel the same about a lot of things, but as you mature and you go through a lot of different experiences, hopefully for the better, which in my case have definitely been, well, then you feel good about life. I mean, I feel real good about things right now. And at the time, I used to be a little, carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders back then. So, and I'm very happy now. So it's kind of, I'm almost not even the same person as I was when I was about 15 years old. I was 16 months old. I was a little baby. But, I mean, I was so entrenched in the entire experience because of the fact that my father went to the Bay of Pigs things and my mother lived with all these women whose husbands were away. So I was raised very much a Cuban, and the food we ate at home was like that. I never spoke English until I went to school in first grade in San Antonio, Texas. And my father, he was a motorcycle policeman. His whole family was very military-oriented. So they grew up in that whole idea. And when the thing happened and they got the opportunity to go to Cuba and the Bay of Pigs invasion, he went and started in the Army as a second lieutenant and worked his way up. And that was his career. He was a career officer. I was an Army brat. We traveled all over the place. But Miami was always my home. That's where my grandparents were. So we were always kind of visiting somewhere else, and then we'd come back to Miami. My mother says I started singing almost when I started talking. But that's because she was a singer and a dancer, and she loved that whole thing, and she would sing to me a lot. There was a lot of music in my household. I'd recite poetry. I had real good memory for lyrics and for everything, so I'd be this little squirt like this, and I'd be singing, and all the old ladies would be crying, and I'd be reciting poetry and things like that. My grandma actually was instrumental in making me learn all these songs, and she was a big thing in my life, so I learned it from her. And I graduated in '78. I had a BA with my majors in psychology and communications. It's University of Miami. And I was going to be a psychologist, or what was the other thing? I was studying languages also. I took French in high school and in school, and I worked as an interpreter. So I was about to leave to Sorbonne in France, or in Geneva there was a school that I was going to study languages in because I loved it. But then the music thing was happening simultaneously, and that took off, and it was definitely my first love, so I went for that.
She's an extremely intelligent person who I think is constantly growing and evolving and trying to, branch out and become a better singer, become a better entertainer. And I think it's because of her intelligence that allows her to keep things in proper perspective, and not get sidetracked off into some kind of meaningless trip, because she is very smart and very articulate and well-educated.
I have a real wide variety of music that I listen to and people that I've listened to. Diana Ross and Barbra Streisand I really admired, and more recently, Anita Baker, I think, some Gretel Voice, and I enjoy music from all kinds of music, actually.
To me, Miami Sound Machine is the most wonderful combination of soul music and salsa music, and I guess that's their sound. I mean, the Miami sound, it's a real wonderful combining of rhythms and sounds that I love, that I identify with.
I wish that my grandmother and my father especially could have seen, you know, the success that we've had, because I think he would have been very proud. And I think he would have been more proud of the fact that the kind of symbol we've become, that would have made him very happy. I think that would be the one thing I'd like for him to have seen, everything that's happened now. We were trying to get a little band together from the people that played at the folk masses and things like this. It was a group of girls and a group of guys from the brother school. And they called Emilio in because the father of one of the guys that was in the group worked at a company that Emilio worked for like 12 years as marketing, you know, executive. And they brought him in to give us pointers on how to get a band together. And he heard us, and he left. And about 3 months later, I saw him at a wedding, which my mother dragged me because I didn't want to go to.
We was playing a wedding, and she came by and she said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Yeah, but I really didn't remember them." You know, that's and I said, "I was the one who was singing, you know, that day." And said, "Oh, sure." I just say, "Do you mind singing one song for us?" And she said, "Sure, my mom want me to sing. It will be great." I said, "Come over and let's do it."
And the band didn't want me to do anything because, you know, every time somebody sits in with a band, they hate it because they either have a horrible time or they can't sing. So they were telling Emilio, "Don't let this girl get up." And he goes, "Don't worry, I've heard her. She's all right. She's all right."
So I went to the piano, accompanied her, and I felt something on her. I said, she has something. She has some warmth in her vocals that, you know, definitely is a little bit different and everything. And the people keep asking for more and more and more.
And then he invited me to join the band. About 2 weeks later, he called me again because I never really called him. He called me back and he said, "Look, this is just a hobby. Come on over and meet my family and stuff, and you can bring your mom." I took my mom, my grandma, my sister, everybody to check him out. Emilio had put this band together. They'd been together for about a year, but they only did salsa music at the time and Latin music. And then when I joined, things started changing a little bit. He started putting in some ballads so that I could sing them, and he started encouraging me to write music and write songs to do an original album, which we did. And I joined in October of '75, and in January of 1976, we had a little record deal with a local company, and we did the first album, and then we changed the name to Miami Sound Machine. So I was there from the beginning of the actual group. As a matter of fact, the song that became a hit, which was a ballad in Spanish, Renacer it was called. It was like #1. The album was #1 on the charts because of that song for a year. And that's what actually started us in Latin America. We became more famous first with the ballads and then moved into the dance music about 4 albums later. I was driving down the highway and I had to stop my car. It was very, very exciting. You still get excited when you hear your music. I heard the thing and I couldn't believe it. I got goosebumps. I had to stop the car and I sat there and I listened to it. And it was a very exciting thing. But now it's more like, let me see who's playing it. You're switching around different channels and, you know, checking out the more technical, how does this sound, or the EQ and this and that. But it's still a thrill.
I think that Gloria is just the person is a great story, you know. It's kind of like the classical romantic story of a person, you know, making it. And this is not really based on any kind of factual evidence that I know of, but just a general impression of Gloria, the person, is it's the kind of story of dreams coming true, I think, of a kind of a slightly shy, suppressed young girl who emerges into a beautiful, gifted singer.
The songs that we were famous for in Latin America we were considered a North American group that sang pop music in Spanish, which was the reason we were able to cross over into all these different countries, because actually each country has their own music, and it's really hard to get a group to be successful in Spanish across the board in Latin America. So that was kind of like the first breakthrough, and the most Latin song we've ever done musically was Conga. We always wanted to go in that direction, but we had other producers at the time that would keep watering down our ideas and say, "Don't use Latin music, you know, they'll never play it where you really want them to play it." And we said, but that's our sound. And as we gained more creative control, then the sound became more what we had been searching for. And as Emilio produced all our albums, then everything really got tied together and we found more of our sound. The work becomes your family. So we try to keep our family with us. My brother-in-law handles all of our business, and my sister's on the road with me. So, because it's a 24-hour thing.
We got along excellent. We've been married for 10 years, and it's been one of the best marriages. I think it's a great marriage because we love each other, and that's what it counts. I think that's the main thing in life. I mean, you can lose everything that we have right now and be as happy as we are today. As long as you have health and you have a healthy kid and everything, that's all that counts for us.
In this last album, I co-wrote a lot of the fast songs. Rhythm is Gonna Get You in 1, 2, 3 with our drummer. I think that you get to know a writer more, definitely through his songs, than you ever will through any interview. I write wherever I can. I've written songs in cars. I wrote one in the shower today, as a matter of fact. I was sitting there shampooing my hair, and I got an idea, and when I came out, I started writing it down, and I finished it, and you just have to get in ideas, and they're hard to come by because, I mean, everybody is, everybody, there's so much music, there's so much going on, and everything's been said if you think about it. I mean, what could you possibly, can't invent anything. When you go out on the road and perform for people, I mean, that's the only way we have of measuring exactly what our music is doing, because we don't see the people when they hear our songs on the radio, or we don't hear them when they're listening at home. So when they're sitting in front of you, that's our only measure, and it's a wonderful experience. My husband is a very extraordinary man, and he's had a lot of confidence in me, more than I probably have had in me. I know there have been lots of moments where I've said, I can't do this, and I can't handle it, and he said, yes, you can. And he saw a lot of things in me that never would have gone out and done unless I had somebody really lighting the fire under me. Ever since my son was born, he's been very, very close to me, and he's been a very close, we've always tried to make him feel like he's in the family, not because have a career and then he's like on the side. No, he's always been very much involved, and I've never lied to him about anything. I've always been upfront. Mommy's going away, Mommy's doing this, and he's very secure, and he's a very, very happy child.
Gloria is a very honest person. She doesn't have two paces or anything, but she doesn't like something she tells anybody. She's very demanding, she's very professional, but at the same time, she's very, very warm. She cares a lot about people. And that's what that's the reason we've been very successful in concerts, because she's not fake. She comes out and she shows people what she feels.
Most recently, with all the success, I think they put you out in the limelight, and it's really hard to go unnoticed. So I think that's the main thing, the fact that when you go anywhere, no matter what you do, someone's going to see you, someone's going to know, someone's going to be looking at, what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're saying, and me, who's a very private person in a lot of ways, it's a little difficult, but it's something that I was ready for. I knew, obviously, logically, if you want to make it in this business, fame goes along with it, and you can't just detach it from yourself. When I'm on stage, I love performing live. I do love to perform live. But the feeling I get in the studio is so relaxed, and I feel so comfortable, and I really love it, because I like to relax. I like to be, I love traveling. It's very exciting, and I love performing, but if I had to choose one that I could only continue to do for the rest of my life, it would probably be recording, because that's really the best way to express yourself creatively. My priorities haven't changed. My family is still first and foremost. I'm lucky that they don't pressure me in the opposite direction, because if I had a husband that didn't want me to be on the road, or a son that was really the type of child that needs to be really near his mother, because he's very independent, and that helps a lot, I think it'd be more difficult, because then I'd have to make some serious decisions, and to me, my family is very important. I probably wouldn't be touring. I'd probably just be a recording artist. But they're very supportive, and I can do it, so I'm lucky in that way. If I could freeze time, I think this would be it. I think that, I've never been happier. I've got a great career. My marriage is doing wonderfully, and I'm very happy. I'm a very happy person. All I can hope for is to continue feeling this way. As a human being, what more can you hope for besides health and happiness? And we've got all of that.